Hey everybody, back again with another one. Today we have Iceman. I'm going to be doing the original incarnation from the original X-Men run, Volume 1. So this is the fun-loving, cheeky Bobby Drake. Um, not quite as dramatic as the modern Marvel Now version, but I've got him having a snowball fight here with some of the fellow X-Men. And we're going to be drawing on this for the next little bit. Thank you very much for coming and hanging out. As always, much appreciated. Now, this card today is public, so you can feel free to share if that's what you're inclined to do. No pressure. I appreciate it, as always. But I've been getting asked more and more to do these on the public forum rather than just for friends as I was originally doing them. So I turned it on where everybody can see it today. I hope it's what you expect and that you like what you see. So I am just carving out this ear here. I've got him very, very rigid in this form. I like him in the crisp edged ice, like he's been sculpted, rather than the snowball form or the exaggerated ice form that some people go for. This is just my favorite rendition of him. It's a cross between a crystallized version of the modern style and the classic Spider-Man and Amazing Friends style, where he's white rather than transparent. So it's just my personal favorite take on him, and that's what we're knocking out here right now. If I sound a little tired or a little off today, it's because I've been up since 4 a.m. and knocking out my new webcomic that I'm going to be releasing this weekend, and hammering that bad boy out so that we can get on track to get you guys some of the content that you've been asking for. So no sales pitch or anything like that. The comic's going to be free online, just as part of the Firestorm Comics universe. And everybody's been chomping at the bit to find out what I've been doing with it. So I want to get that out this weekend. And I put in the extra hours to catch it up. So hope it's worth it for you. Now, like I said the other day, my first experience with this character was pretty much the same book that I found and fell in love with Firestar from at the Texas State Fair when I was 4 or 5, maybe. When I went, they had a safety kit, and it had a Marvel comic in it, and a couple of Marvel comics and a couple of DC comics, and Spider-Man and his Amazing Friends were in it, and they were helping Big Tech save the fair. It was a cool little book for kids, whatnot. But if he looks a little grimacing here, not to get sidetracked, but if he looks a little grimacing here, it's because of the fact that I'm making him have that smart aleck smirk going on, because of the fact that he's going to be throwing snowballs at the other X-Men down here, just a couple of them. He's up overhead. You can see his eyes slide right back here. And he's up overhead, running out of the bounds, cheating as he always would, and cutting up and causing trouble. But, yeah, that was my experience with him the first time I got to see. I didn't see the cartoon even, and I didn't get addicted to the replays of the cartoon and whatnot until after I had gone to the fair. I was a Spider-Man fan from comic books at that point. It's part of what I learned to read with, because believe it or not, I don't talk about it a lot anymore, but I am a dyslexic, and I have outgrown it since then because of comic books. The visual concepts of what was being told in the stories actually released that problem. And comics helped me get over that issue a lot because I was able to visualize the words through the transparency of the pictures and the osmosis of it. And it was just always a huge thing for helping me do that. That's the reason that they do a lot of the children's books now visually, is because of that fact. It's the same concept. So I'm not going to try and edge him out too much. I don't want to put too many black shadows in here, because when I ink this, I will open these back up and make it transparent so that it looks more white and ice-like. But I want to add in these details right now through the penciling process so that I make the markers. But yeah, I know since then, I know it's helped a lot of students. I work with the local schools and stuff, with where my daughter goes to school, or where whoever was closest to me at the time, to help with the dyslexia programs and things like that, and actually got comic books put into Oklahoma City schools, which I found was cool. They accepted the graphic novels into the program because of that. So we have all ages books in our library system now, which was just phenomenal. We didn't have them up until 2000, and then I was part of the petition that pushed those in and helped set that up. And not that I'm bragging or anything, it was to help the kids. But that's where my first experience with Iceman came from, was one of those books that I got from the fair. And I was always just so amazed with those characters. But this one is coming off very quickly. Didn't mean to give off my life story there. Everybody keeps asking me to talk more, so there you go. That's a story you can take to the bank right there. But yeah, this is a fun one. I'm making him more rigid than most people would. I actually like making the muscles cut into the ice form. Now, granted, that's not something I like to do with normal comic anatomy, but in this case, it segments perfectly for this. So it makes a great look and just cuts those ridges. Getting a lot. Okay, sorry about that. I was getting a lot of feedback there, and had to check what was going on. Apparently, the word's spreading about the cards and stuff. But which I appreciate all you guys doing that. That's awesome. I love doing these, and as long as we keep it going, like I said, as long as we keep it going from the beginning, I've said as long as everybody keeps showing up, I'll keep doing them. If you guys don't want to see them anymore, then let me know, and I won't bother you. But yeah, this is one of those things I enjoy doing because it gives me a little free time in my day to do a lot of different things and different characters and whatnot, and spread the reach. A lot of people ask me what my drawing style is like and how everything works this way and that way, and yeah, this comes across really quick. I just want him to look like Iceman, not Silver Surfer, so that's part of the reason I edged him out the way I did, because I don't want that problem. A lot of people make them cross over, and I really don't like that. I mean, if you're going to draw the character and make it look like it, and make it look right. Hey, Gavin. my nephew. He popped on to say hi because I turned these public and he can see them. He's in my friends list, but he didn't. I don't know if he'd had the alerts on or not. He's kind of restricted, on we protect the kids, so it's kind of restricted as to what alerts he has and whatnot. But yeah, everybody's showing up and checking this out, and I appreciate it. Believe me, it's awesome. These things are so fun. I almost have the Wolverine and Sabretooth from the other day finished up. I worked on it last night, but like I said, I took a couple of days aside from finishing up the cards that I'm a little behind on, which I used to do daily. But since I started this daily comic, web comic, I backed off that a little bit so that I can get that work done and maintain my regular work as well. Because I have client work, in comics as well as in marketing, and I don't want to lose anything or mess up any contracts or whatever. And not to mention I have to keep doing the marketing research that I do and cutting into that. So I am going to put in this ice slide back here. I'm going to cut in these trees. I just put in a couple of trees that he could hit with snow, like that. Because Iceman caused this snowstorm here that everybody's seeing. And he basically frosted over the yard. And I'm going to have a couple of trees here, so we have those. And just cut them in like that and put the snow on them, kind of thing, and layer them out because they're evergreen trees, so they're layered like this. Not a problem. Very fun and easy to draw, especially at this size, because you don't have to worry about all the finer details right at the moment. With these, it's an open style that I use, so I get to play around with that stuff a lot more. I'm going to put in this curve here for his ice sled. And if you guys don't know this version of Bobby Drake, which is Iceman, of course, he was a pain in the butt. He was more like what we now know as the Flash of DC Comics. He's more of the cut-up like that in these original stories. He used to be one of my favorite characters because of the fact, right behind Colossus and Nightcrawler, he used to be one of my favorite characters because of the fact that he would cut up and joke all the time. And that was part of who he was and what he was about. He was always the lighthearted cut up of the team and would provoke a lot of people. Like this would be a perfect scenario for him because it looks like what he would do he would freeze everybody up and cause a frost out in the yard. They'd go outside, expecting to go swimming or playing volleyball in the middle of the summer, and there would be an ice storm right there in the backyard blocking everything up, and the pool would be frozen or whatever. That was an Iceman thing. That's the kind of stuff he would do. So that's part of what attracted me so much to the X-Men is the diversity of the characters. So now this is going to be, we're going to put a Colossus character right here. Boom, done. And when I go in to ink that, I'll use the finer inks and go ahead and put in some lines, but I don't want to do too much. I kind of had a Jean Grey thing going on here with the arms up. There goes the chest, and the other hand up in the air this way. And what I had going on there was kind of having her throw these up, these snowballs here up, and everybody kind of being on defensive. And you have Beast right down here with the massive shoulders, massive back, and the legs sticking out the front as he always squats. When he sits, he kind of squats because he's bottom heavy. And he's working on a big, massive snowball right there. Now, since I put him in over the top of the trail, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that back there to isolate that off, so it doesn't look like it's coming out of his butt. That'd be weird. So, I mean, it connected right there, and I did not notice that till just now. But this is some of the frost ice coming up from Bobby's other arm, which is down here for the trail, where he's making the rest of his ice sled to slide around. Big condensation comes off of that because of the fact that if it's warm outside, he should have bigger condensation. Normally it would be down around his hand like an energy burst kind of thing, but I like to string it up because it's going to be melting constantly if that's the situation. If they're not going to have, if it's not cold weather. So I want to go in here and I'm going to pop in a little bit of a gum line right there. I don't want to overdo these teeth because with them being ice, they're going to be smooth anyway, the way he freezes out. And of course, the eyes are going to be white and blank. And at this tiny level, all the finer details on some of these are just going to be non-existent. I'll go in with a 1 and a 0.1 pin and try to get as many of those details in as I can without crossing them out or muting them. I'm going to put in a couple of footprints in here, a couple of big ones from Beast walking around. Then I'm going to put some odd ones right in here for some of the others. Tiny little feet for the young ladies running around in here. And I'm going to put one back over here so that it looks like they crossed the yard and then Bobby swooped through. So there we have a super quick sketch of this card being done. We have Iceman. I hope that was cool for you guys. I know this was a quick one. Let's see here. What do I have for tomorrow? I do have a card for tomorrow, and I will be live, and it will be public for you guys to join in if you want to. It will be Cyclops. Now, this rendition of Cyclops is going to be... hello. A jet's going overhead. It will be classic Cyclops. I'm not sure of the rendition yet until I get in there and work it out and sketch it out. But, yeah, I will let you guys know more about there's stuff coming up later on. I'll check out posts for that. I'll put that stuff up. Right now, I'm not going to mess with him anymore. I don't want to mess it up. I'm going to ink it up. I'll get it posted for you guys probably Sunday or Monday after I get the webcomic up. And I appreciate your time. We'll see you tomorrow.